Hello everybody and welcome back to the stream. It's a very catchy title because that's exactly what's going on and that's what's happening to us right now. So let me just recap where we were and what was going on. We were on a flight between Johannesburg and, between Guarulhos and Johannesburg, and about halfway through the Atlantic we faced a cargo fire. Actually QRH, and now it's been about 50 minutes and we're just about to start finally an arrival now into, well, we're going to do the rest of the actions required, and I'll show you how it's going to happen. What this means for us is, unfortunately, the original trip that we planned that was supposed to be from Rio, Sao Paulo, Johannesburg, Bangkok, and eventually Hong Kong is not going to go as planned. We're still going to come back on stream tomorrow for the Hong Kong arrival. I wouldn't miss that. But I think we're going to have to cancel the Joburg to Bangkok leg because we're going to now divert to Cape Town. So let's jump in and let me tell you exactly what's going on. So during cruise we got this fire warning here, followed by the cargo fire lower forward message. There's a few QRH actions that were associated with it, and we have completed them. You can find the QRH from TFDI, and let me show you that very quickly here as well on the screen so you can take a look at the actions that we've done and how it goes. Starts off here. We're supposed to do push the flashing cargo fire discharge switch, which is up there in our case. That was flashing and we hit the switch. Followed by which we were supposed to move the cargo forward flow switch, the associated cargo flow switch, to off, which is what we did. Kind of stops the flow through the cabin. Then we went ahead and the cargo temperature selector has gone to off, so it no longer tries to regulate the temperature there. What we had then was the cargo flow aft disagree, which is what we expect because we've just turned the aft is disagreeing with what's on, so I guess the aft has gone off because the forward's gone off, so it's no longer flowing. We then went to the air switch system here and we switched the system to manual override, following which we turned off the bleed air and then the additional pack to that side of the cabin. 1, 2 and 3 isolations are off, as you can see. If I click them, they go on, which is not what we want. They're all off, which is the situation that we'd like. We wait approximately 1 minute and the cargo fire agent discharge low light is supposed to illuminate, showing that the agent has discharged. So that's where we are, and now we are diverting to the nearest suitable airport. Okay, that's master caution air, and let's take a look at what the air systems have to say for us. As a cargo fire lower, cargo fire agent is low, cargo flow forward is off, the zone temperature selector is off, and the air system is manual, which is all what we had expected to see from when we did the QRH. The lower cargo temperature is low. At the moment it's off, and the air system 1 is off, all of which is expected behavior, and it's what we wanted to see. As such, the consequences of what's happening here: land at nearest suitable airport for the cargo fire low forward. System 1, if manifold failed to not repressurize, wing anti-ice not available, degraded aft cargo ventilation. We were just taking care of the fire there, so that's where you are. This happened a fewer miles further back, and as you can see now, we're close to about 300-ish miles from Cape Town, which happened to be our closest airport, 330. There's another note here that tells you that approximately 90 minutes after Agent 1, each cargo compartment's got 2 agents, so about 90 minutes after Agent 1 has been, I don't know why I have this on, about 90 minutes after Agent 1 has been discharged, the alert will be displayed on the EAD. What alert? Discharge cargo agent alert will come on. So it's self-timing for about 90 minutes. So you'll get an alert. Once that alert comes on, we're going to have to discharge a second agent, which gives you an additional 90 minutes. A total of 180 minutes of cargo suppression. If we haven't already accomplished that, when we are on the approach, then we would discharge a second bottle and second agent anyway. So now we're going to initiate our diversion into Cape Town. At the moment, There's no ATC there, and I can't seem to find any traffic in and around the Cape Town area, so it's just going to be us having to divert. So, there it is, on cue. Discharge cargo agent. So you can see I'd done this task about 90 minutes ago. So that's the discharge cargo agent message. I'm going to clear it, and then I'm going to discharge a second cargo. It'll tell you which one to push by flashing. We are discharging the second agent. I'll need to see something that has happened. I figured it would tell me, hey, this is the situation. Let's take a look at the status. There you go. In a minute we got low because the bottle's been discharged. So how firefighting works in modern airplanes is you have one strong pulse of suppression agent, and then once the fire has been sort of calmed, or the idea is that it will calm the fire down a bit, every few minutes the bottle keeps discharging the agent in like little squirts to keep the fire down, which is how we have the fire under control. Other things I've done since then, I've gone all the way up to the maximum allowable speed at Mach decimal 84. We're still maintaining flight level 370, and you're now joining me for the next steps we're going to take. I need to divert. So, in order to plan the diversion, I'm going to go ahead here for a secondary flight plan, and I'm going to say that we're diverting to Cape Town, which, even with the plan, was the nearest airport available. We didn't plan for ETOPS because this aircraft had 3 engines, so that wasn't necessary at the time. So we're going to go ahead on route secondary flight plan. We're going to go from Sao Paulo to Cape Town. There's no alternate. The cost index can be 10, or in our case, because we wanted to do it a bit quicker, get down, well, let's see if 100 works for us. There was a step climb to 390, which we haven't accomplished. There's no intercept, and everything is going peachy. Let's see what else the secondary flight plan has for us. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fly direct to Itula. I'm sorry, we're going to fly direct to Itmac, which is the waypoint directly ahead of us on our current flight plan. We didn't change it because it was practically... Actually, you know what, maybe we should change it. Maybe we should fly direct to the Cape Town VOR. Yeah, so secondary flight plan has us flying direct to the Cape Town VOR. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to activate the secondary with a direct to Cape Town VOR. So this is going to give us literally the most direct routing to Cape Town with a discontinuity ahead. So let me delete these that we don't need. Itmac and Itula we don't need. And that tells me the distance to go to Cape Town. Actually, I don't know if that's the distance to go. But the distance to go is here on the fixed page. We're about 300 miles from Cape Town. Doing about 554 knots. It's about 40 minutes till we land. Discharge the second agent, and we should get there before the 90 minutes runs out. So we're now just going to discuss some stuff that we want to do when it comes to the actual failure here. Let me turn down the music before I get... Yeah, it's not... So what we want to do in terms of dealing with the fire, or dealing with the aft cargo agent, we know the agent is now suppressing the fire, else we would get information from the cabin like, hey, there's smoke or damage or whatever. The issue here is that there's no way for us to go into the cargo compartment and fight the fire. Ideally, we've just sort of depressurized this as much as possible, which is why the cargo temperature is low. And the flow is off there as well, so there's no flow to the cargo compartment, so anything there is, it's a no-go zone at least. And that works for us because that's exactly what we need to keep the fire down. So you would think as soon as we land in Cape Town, the ideal thing to do would be to evacuate the aircraft, or to fight the fire ASAP, right? Because you want to keep it under control. No, not really, because once you land in Cape Town, if you still have passengers on the airplane and now you open the cargo doors, you reintroduce oxygen into that compartment, there's a possibility of a flash fire where it reignites, and we want to avoid that. You also want to avoid injuries on arrival in Cape Town. So my thinking at the moment is, during the approach into Cape Town, or if we had VHF contact with somebody in Cape Town now, we would start asking them or start planning ahead for landing in Cape Town and stopping on the runway, or just if there's a high speed available, just get on the high speed. And what I would do is to have stairs meet the aircraft. We would prepare the cabin for what's called a rapid disembarkation. Everyone leave everything behind, just get out the plane, but use the stairs instead of using the slides, because using the slides has a higher tendency of injuries. At the moment, everything seems to be under control, so we don't need to make it any worse. Once we get down to Cape Town, fire trucks are going to meet us, stairs are going to meet us, everyone disembarks ASAP, after which what I'm going to do is turn the airplane off completely, so the engines, the APU, everything's going to go off. It's going to be like the evacuation checklist, or if I can find one, something similar to an evacuation, except we're not using the slides. We could use the slides if during final we get report of smoke, or if at this time we start getting reports of smoke, what I would do is try speed up. If the smoke situation is not under control with the checklist and we can't get it sorted, worst case scenario is having to think about a ditching. Off the coast of South Africa with all the sharks, this is an ideal scenario. This is not an ideal scenario. Okay, my bad, folks. I accidentally pushed the bulk cargo. This means one thing. We're gonna have to start diving. We'll go off the airway a little bit. The bulk cargo is open. That was my mistake. This has just gone from bad to worse. We extend the speed brakes. And the airplane is now diving. At MMO. Ugh. What a shit day. At this point you would go to the cabin, you say something along the lines, advise the cabin crew, whatever your company manual says, advise them that we are now in an emergency descent. I'd also throw on all the lights so that people around can see that, hey, this is us and we are doing the emergency descent. You could also go ahead and set 7700, but I'm still on VATSIM and I don't want any additional attention from the code of conduct guys. We're trying to establish a 5-mile offset from the track until we're below our VSM, which we are, and then at this point we would now fly direct back to the Cape Town VOR, and that's going to get us there. Ugh, that was incredibly stupid of me. Let's get this going. You can see 10,000 set. This plane goes down very quickly. Back to MMO. 360 knots. That's gone from bad to worse. We need to find a way to deploy the oxygen masks. To be honest, I don't know how to do it, which is why we haven't done it. Cabin altitude. Okay. Obviously, before you've done all this, your mask should have been on. Here's what takes a bit of time. Flying direct to Cape Town VOR. Going down to 10,000 feet. Well, this solves another problem for us. This solves the problem of having to lose a bit of weight because we were above maximum landing weight if we were landing with the cargo fire. But in this case, not. We're okay. So, next thing I want to do, the next checklist I'm going to do here, obviously because of pilot error, Look at that, we're doing 9,000 foot per minute. I'm gonna stow the speed brakes as we round off. A little bit of that can be expected. And the reason that's happened is because of me pulling the speed brakes down ASAP. Ditching, landing aspects, avionics fan, brace for impact. Okay, emergency descent, we've done that. Spoiler, IAS, transponder, 7700, no smoke and seatbelt signs on. Yeah, so that's something I'd forgotten, the seatbelt signs. Seems trivial, hey, with when you're doing an emergency descent. There we go, 10,000 feet. Let's fly fast. We'll burn some weight, some fuel as well. About 200 miles from Cape Town VOR. This is not my finest work, I'll tell you that. We're flying at VMO at 10,000 feet towards Cape Town, and we are TAT is 30, so out of icing conditions as well, because you gotta remember that because we have turned the bleed 1 off, there is no wing anti-ice available for the left wing. As such, being in icing conditions could create some problem for the left wing. Let's go ahead and see what we can do. Miscellaneous. Cargo door aft A, cargo door aft B, and there's a door open. There's a couple of checklists there. And let's go take a look at air, cabin altitude. So that was definitely pilot error, unfortunately.
Cabin altitude.
Okay. So the reason that warning keeps coming on is because as we bounce between 10,000 and 10,010 feet, it causes the warning to come on. As you can see, we're already at 10,000 feet cabin altitude. I can trick this by going to 9,500. And you see immediately that stops the cabin altitude warning because the altitude's actually dropped below 10,000. Notice how it also follows the actual rate of the aircraft because the cabin is no longer pressurized. So we're going to try keep a nice gentle descent profile. I mean, it's not like anybody cares about the ears now after fire and a depressurization, right? Another thing we would have conducted with the initial cargo fire is something called a NITS brief. A NITS brief is a way of flight deck to advise cabin crew or cabin personnel on their plan of action. So it's a synonym, abbreviation. So the N is for nature of emergency, I is for the pilot's intentions, T is a time frame, and the S are any specials or any considerations. The original failure would have discussed the nature of being a cargo fire, the intention to divert to Cape Town. The time would have been, at the time, about 2 hours, and secondaries would be to prepare the cabin for a rapid disembarkation. Situations change a little bit. We're still going to do a rapid disembarkation, but we'd call the senior in again and say, okay, the door blew open. Actually not, I pressed the iPad by mistake. The intention is still to go to Cape Town, and in terms of time, we should be there at 17:43, which is that's not quite right. Alright, so let me just give myself a direct to Cape Town again. Yeah, so that's not quite right. So we're 200 miles from Cape Town, we're doing 430 knots, so we're about 30 minutes away from Cape Town. And the supplementaries or the specials still remain the same. We're going to do a rapid disembarkation because of the cargo fire. Let's go back to the consequences of our actions. That still remains on. We don't have a cabin altitude anymore, but obviously we're at 10,000. You can see here the fuel burn is close to 4 tons per engine per hour. We're burning about 12 tons an hour. And how much have we got left? About 22. So we got 30 minutes to go. 12, that's about 6 tons down. And Yeah, that's not great. FASA is calling us 128325. We're gonna have to speak to them. Let's see what they have to say about our failure. Hello, hello, check, check. Hello, hello, check, check. Okay, so the headset part doesn't seem to be working. Let me see if this works. Hello, check, check. Okay, that works. Let's say hello to Cape Town, 128325. Makes things a little bit more interesting. South Africa Control, good evening, VARIG 828 Heavy. South Africa Control, VARIG 828 Heavy. Interesting. Don't seem to be able to hear each other. South Africa Control, good evening, VARIG 828 Heavy. Hello. Okay, not really sure what's going on, but let's move on to this. Hello. Okay, let me try that again. South Africa Control, VARIG 828 Heavy. Great, dealing with audio problems at the same time. Just how I like it. South Africa, VARIG 828 Heavy. Okay guys, we're gonna see if somebody else checks in and talks to South Africa because we're dealing with a different problem at the moment. If it doesn't seem to pan out the way it's meant to, we're just gonna disconnect so we're not in anybody's way. Good. Next step is to stop the QRH actions for the cabin altitude warning, which we literally had no time to do because of how quickly we went down. I was genuinely surprised. I did not expect it to go down that quickly. So let's see if I can. There's an evacuation checklist, 2 engines inoperative, drift down. Wow, it's actually very well done. Approach aspects, landing aspects, rollout aspects. QRH landing cargo door, which is what we had. And we know that that was real because it went on to a it obviously went into a problem, right? So that's done there. Let's see again. South Africa control, hello, VARIG 828 heavy. Alright guys, I think this might be let me try reconnect, yeah, because it's kind of fun with somebody playing along. So let's see if we can't make it work for us. South Africa control, good evening, VARIG 828 heavy. Okay, seems that it was a simple matter of so it looks like Cape Town's arriving, runway 19er. VARIG 828, we are at mode Charlie at the moment. Do you not receive us? Okay, so let's try something else. South Africa, VARIG 828, how do you read now? Sorry, gotta try that again for VARIG 828, sorry. Squawk 7374, VARIG 828 heavy. Squawk 7361, VARIG 828 heavy. This is not working out for me. Okay guys, so we're gonna plant Cape Town, runway 19er. ILS 19er Zulu. With the Cape Town 1 transition, and we're gonna insert that and hope for the best. Yeah, VARIG 828, I'm gonna take your permission for this. So we had active failures turned on, and we did experience a cargo fire and a decompression. And if you allow us, we'd like to continue on the network. If not, I'm happy to disconnect. VARIG 828, thank you very much. So Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. We're maintaining 9,500 feet, proceeding direct to the Charlie Tango Victor. We intend to divert to Cape Town. Proceed direct to Apkim, and then Cape Town landing runway 19er, VARIG 828 heavy, thank you. So, direct to Apkim. Nope, that ain't right. Aspect, Alpha Sierra Papa India Kilo. Okay, proceeding direct to Aspic, Cape Town landing runway 19er. Okay, so very nice of the gentleman to accommodate what's clearly a terrible situation. I'm a little bit scared of manipulating these knobs now under the flight control switch, sorry, the fuel levers, just in case we have yet another problem. CDU message, discontinuity ahead. Yep, we're going to solve that now. First things first, I'd like to have the Cape Town VOR up and ready for me. So it's Charlie Tango Victor. Ah, that's prepped already. 1157. So turning these on should give me a range to Charlie Tango Victor about 113 miles, which is well within our capability at this time. I'm going to switch us back to the iPad so we can take a look at how we're going to shoot this approach now into Cape Town. For the most part, the aircraft is now stable. The depressurization has been handled. I want to take a quick look at the weight. I believe the maximum landing weight is 195, and we are currently at, let me go back to status. Nope, that's not it. Let me go back to engine. Current weight is 176, so we are below maximum landing weight. And we're currently got 19 tons of fuel, which is good. So 12 tons gives us about an hour to continue flying, and we'll be in Cape Town hopefully before that. Cape Town, yeah, in about 15 minutes. Let's go to the charts. Let's get that sorted out now. Let's see how the arrival, what kind of arrival we're going to fly into Cape Town. Good. Once we get a bit closer, we should be able to hear them a little bit better. So obviously the airport we're now flying to, Foxtrot Alpha Charlie Tango, is where we are diverting to. They said ILS 19er or arrival runway 19er via, and we're flying direct to Aspic at the moment. I need to find that. Yeah. That to me sounds like a runway 101 sort of waypoint. Let's look for it. Ugh. Come on, man. Nope. Maybe on the RNAV. Well, I hope you can hear Cape Town. Okay, I can't seem to find the waypoint aspect on my charts. Aspect. Let's put this in plan mode with a decreased range. Aspic and then Charlie Tango Victor. So it's just slightly
828, entering to load airspace at 120 miles, control.
Okay, he definitely called me, but I can't seem to hear him. A lot of people are active in Cape Town. Okay, we'll sort that out after. Yeah, let's just get the ILS 19 and we'll set that up. Course is 191 and frequency 109.1. Course 191, 109.1. Course 191. That's in. We'll use a minimums of 347, 350 for our sake. Let's bring that down. We'll continue the flaps 35 landing, and something else I wanted to talk about. After landing, we'll stop on the runway and we'll disconnect, so these guys can have a nice event. Seems like there's quite a few of them, and I don't really want to get in their way. However, quite nice of the gentleman to accommodate us today. The reason I'm setting 350 is because we're still capable of doing the 2.9 missed approach gradient if required. All three engines are fine. Gear is moving up and down correctly. And we're no longer overweight, so it's all working out fine. It's quite surprising how much fuel the airplane burned at 9,500 feet.
Roger, 828, entering to load airspace at 220 miles, radar control, descend to climb level 900, proceed direct, Charlie Tango Victor.
Proceed direct to Charlie Tango Victor, copy, VARIG 828 heavy. And descend flight level 90, VARIG 828 heavy. Alright, direct Charlie Tango Victor, descend to flight level 90. Technically, we should be on a QNH here.
Thank you, contact Cape Town approach, 119, bye.
Cape Town approach 1197, VARIG 828 heavy. Thank you, goodbye.
Bye.
Cape Town approach, VARIG 828 heavy, descending level 90, direct to Charlie Tango Victor. Okay, let me continue setting this. Takes a while to set minimums. I'm glad I'm not going to keto, because that would take quite a while here. 350 is set. And you can see the lights of Cape Town just there in the distance. Oh, it's 1197, my mistake.
Joburg, radar 124.5, bye.
Cape Town approach, good evening, VARIG 828 heavy, level 90, direct Charlie Tango Victor.
Good evening, you identified as flight level 090 up to 5,000, going down unit 10122, expect the island runway 19.
Descend 5,000 feet, QNH 1012 will plan for the ILS, runway 19, VARIG 828 heavy. Left turn heading 090, VARIG 828 heavy. And approach VARIG 828 heavy. Just wondering if South Africa control advised you of our scenario. Thank you, appreciate the time. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like, after landing, about 3 minutes on the runway, and then I shall disconnect. VARIG 828 heavy, thank you. Alright, so obviously IRL would now start talking about coordinating exactly what we want from well, approach would be a nice person to talk to because I think they'd have a more direct line with the tower. I don't know how center works, but ideally now you would, or if you could have said earlier, we would have told them about our intentions to stop on the runway, the rapid disembarkation that we're about to do, and all that kind of stuff. Let me just go quickly back here and let me show you the touchdown plan, because I think it's actually kind of important. It's all well and good once you get down, but what are we going to do once we get down, right? So land runway 19. In an ideal world, I'll try to exit on Charlie 1, or ideally it would be better if they had another high speed available. In this case, they don't. So what I'm looking for is a fire station, maybe something around here that would maybe tell me where the fire station is. And if I had that sort of information, I would try to get as close to it as possible. We could also coordinate with them that will stop a beam Charlie taxiway here, and then the fire services can come to us if required. Which is not a bad idea, to be honest. So let's simulate that we're going to do that, and that we have in fact managed to coordinate that. I think doing that on the VATSIM network is just a try-hard kind of situation, isn't it? So we're going to be nice to our fellow air traffic controllers. I think a medium auto brake should do the trick. And because I've never done it before, I am going to... No speed and altitude restriction, VARIG 828 heavy, thank you. So by the looks of it, I think I'm going direct to this waypoint here. I'm not going to select a direct yet, but let's see. Lovely. We're going to keep the speed all the way to 5,000 feet, and at 5,000 feet we'll reduce the speed. Altimeter is 1012. 1012, it's set, and standby, and over there. Good. While we're waiting, I'm just going to go ahead and review what needs to be done in the event of a evacuation, because we're doing sort of like a half-assed evacuation, right? We're doing a rapid disembarkation. So evacuation signal on, which we'll do. Oh, that's the end of the sorry. Emergency landing and terrain, no. Cabin manual, no. 1, 2, 3. Evacuation. After we land, we'll turn the outflow valve, verify that it's open. So before we do that, I need to find where the outflow valve is. These are things that a type rating should take care of, but where is the outflow valve? Cabin pressurization, bleed, outflow. Okay, well, let's think about it logically. What's the outflow valve for? We're trying to depressurize the aircraft. In our case, the aircraft is already depressurized, so that's not really going to be that important for us. 66 miles to go. Let's go open descent, and I'll slow down the aircraft at this time. Let's bring her all the way down to 250 knots. Spoiler, parking handle to park. Spoiler handle is going to be retracted. Fuel switches all off, and we'll evacuate. Now's the evacuation, and the evacuation signal can go on. Engine fire handles, all of them are going to go down, and the AP fire handle we're going to pull and rotate. We'll inform the ATC of the evacuation, and the emergency power selector goes off and the battery goes off. That's the end of the evacuation checklist. I'm starting to wonder if that might not be excessive, is my question. Because at this time, we're just going to do the rapid, right? So everyone's going to leave, but there's going to be a firefighting team once they open. Yeah, we're going to do everything. That might be a better way to do it. So that's Cape Town there. I think somewhere around here is Table Mountain. And behind Table Mountain is the Cape Flats. It's a lovely place to visit if you're ever in Cape Town. Please go visit the Cape Flats. You'll have a great time. Nothing to worry about. It's literally the safest place in all of Cape Town. Alright. Things are not going well. So at this point we are sort of... Is that Charlie India 19 that we're going direct to? I think yes. Oh, it is. Descent to altitude 3,000 feet, VARIG 828 heavy. Okay, 3,000 set, slightly above the glide here, and I'm gonna bring out the first notch of flaps, and we'll slow down to 220 knots. Nothing worse than declaring an emergency and then becoming unstable. In my defense though, I never said the word emergency, even though it is implied. Let's go down at 200 knots. And a third of the speed brakes, and what I'm trying to do here is sort of follow the glide. We're going to be perfect there. 3,000 set. And at this time we're about 14 miles from the Cape Town VOR and 13 miles from the ILS. We're going to get that turn in shortly. So let's go ahead and set speed 180 and bring in another notch of flaps. Retract speed brake chilled out. Speed brakes are in. Oh, and that reminds me, I don't think I did this as part of the after takeoff flow in Guarulhos. It's supposed to go back to 15. My bad. So what happens when you're not type rated? When you're just winging it? So far I think we've winged it well enough. That's 500 to level. We can go ahead and VS the last 500 feet. There we go. Speed 180 is good, and we should get a turn in now. There's the airport in sight. Oh yeah, very stable. I'm gonna arm the speed brakes because that's something I tend to forget on the MD-11. Slow down to speed 160. Approach VARIG 828. Do you still require present heading, or can we turn in for the ILS? Right turn heading 140, cleared ILS 19, VARIG 828 heavy. Boss man. Alright, actually, you know, should have just let him call me because that was an incredible vector. Alright, speed 160. Let's keep that there. I need to go see what the config is. Slats extended, flaps 15. Alright, that's alright. We'll go ahead and put the approach mode on. Lands armed. There's a runway. Can't remember the last time I've landed in Cape Town, but I get the impression that it didn't go well. So hopefully this time it does. Come on, baby girl. There we go. Lock. Runway heading was 19 something. Sorry, yeah, 19 something. I'll just go ahead and say 19 something. 1901, I think it was. And let's try and get that switch over to tower so we can start coordinating with them as well. Approach VARIG 828 heavy, establish localizer runway 19er.
VARIG 828 Cape Town, wind galaxy 200.1 runway 19, clear to land.
Oh, there's no tower. Clear land runway 19er, VARIG 828 heavy. All the lights are still on. Let's advertise our emergency lights. Sorry, our emergency landing with the logo lights. Missed approach, runway track 4,500, okay. And then we'll turn back to the VOR or as directed. I think most likely it's going to give us a vector at the end of the missed approach, if there is one, and I'm hoping there isn't. Let's go ahead and set 4,500. So that cargo door blew open by pilot error. But nevertheless, the fire, I guess, is pretty close to the gear. Let's go ahead and drop the landing gear, get to our final landing configuration. 8 miles to go. It's checked. Speed brakes are armed. Oops, no, they're not. Now they are. And let's do another notch of flaps. The approach is going to be 149. Let's go 150. It's flaps 28. Finally flaps 35. Speed 150 is set. We're clear to land. We're not looking for a butter. I mean, it's an MD-11. I was never going to get a butter anyway. Alright guys, wish me luck. Got the thrust and I've got the autopilot, so it's nice. This looks like a nice stable approach. It's such a shame. I did want to go all the way to Joburg and then on to Bangkok. Getting to the backside of the speed tape there. To my hand, she seems a little bit more thrust sensitive. She needs quite a bit of babying. I can't let the speed drop all that much. We're at 158 now, 155, and she seems to need a lot of thrust, to keep the speed. 151 here, 152, let's notch back, 54. Sorry, I'm zoomed out a little bit on my screen, just so we have, just so you all have a better view of what's going on here. Okay, through 1,000 feet. Gears down, flaps are extended, speed brakes are armed, so we are completely configured for landing. In fact, I'd go a step further and say we're stabilized because of how nicely I'm able to keep the speed this time around. It's a 5 knot head, 3 across, just what we need, nothing too much to worry about. Speed's running away from me a little bit. Oh shit, I think this is oh no. So we're having frame rate problems now, because I believe I've got the INI builds Cape Town along with the default Cape Town still installed. Tree red on the puppy, we're going to correct that just a notch. $16 on the head, 8 across. Continue. Full reverses on landing. Say 10. Okay, I've only got 2 reverses. Not sure why the other one didn't unlock. So that's Charlie, where we said we're going to stop. ABS disarm. I think it's good enough. Approach VARIG 828 heavy, stopping runway 19er. Okay, let's get that.
Thank you very much for attending. Emergency service on your way.
VARIG 828. So Alpha Vab verify open. It's going to be open because that door blew out. Parking handle. Set the parking brake. Parking brake is set. Spoiler handle retract. Fuel switches to the off position. Uno, dos, tres. They're all off. Evacuate announced. All right, everyone. This is the rapid disembarkation that we're talking about. At this point, the stairs will come up to us, and doors are disarmed, and they're all gonna go open now. Please, there's no music required. This is a... I don't know how to turn the music off. Good. All the doors are opening. Announce the evacuate, okay. Rapid disembarkation. Evacuation signal switch needs to go on. And open that. The evacuation is gone. Engine fire handles down and discharge. Come on. How do I get this down? Come on, guys, don't give me a hard time now. I'm on stream. Things I should figure out how to do before I actually do it for the first time. Where's the touchstone? Touchstone. Okay, you know what? I'm getting in everyone's way. 3, 2. Just trying to find a better perspective. There we go. Maybe this will work. Better. That's all down. Good. What's next? Down discharge, APU fire handle, pull and rotate. Yeah, if I can find it. That is out there. Okay, let's just assume it's rotated. Inform ATC. Alright, they are aware of the rapid disembarkation. Set the emergency power selector switch to off. Off. Battery switch off. Okay, gonna direct my FO to get out the plane and handle the scandal. Whereas I will walk down the airplane one time, make sure everybody's out, and then we can save the day. Alright, let's thank Cape Town for their help, and then we'll bugger off from the airspace. Hey, Cape Town approach, VARIG 828. Obviously the transmission doesn't work without the battery, so... Okay, let's get that on again. Cape Town approach, VARIG 828. Thanks very much for your help. We'll disconnect at this time. Have yourself a great evening. Bye-bye. Bye. Alright. So we're gonna get out of his way. I didn't realize there was an event. I promise you it was not the intention. But then we'll just finish the checklist part here. Batteries off. And then we're gonna leave. Alright, that's it. We're safe on the ground in Cape Town. What happens next would be the firefighters would come in once I've jumped out the back and I've let them know that there's nobody on board. They're gonna go ahead and start fighting the fire, which was in the front. They're gonna open both. They'll get in there and they'll start fighting the fire. In the meantime, we'll probably get the passengers somewhere far away, probably around this side, away from where the rest of the aircraft are going to be. And then at some point, they're going to get bussed in. We'll go to the terminal. We'll get drug test, blood test, all that stuff. And then we'll be on an episode of Air Crash Investigation. Wonderful. All things considered, that was a learning experience. Note to self, figure out where all the buttons are before we start flying the plane. I mean, I know we got extended simulation just for shits and giggles, but I think it could have been wise today to have found out where the APU switch was. Ah, there it is. Yep, so that was done as well. We'll pretend that was done. Good. So kind of happy with it, kind of upset that it didn't work out as planned with getting to Joburg, because I really wanted to do the onward leg to Bangkok and then further on to Kai Tak. So tomorrow we're going to pretend that this didn't happen, and I'm going to get started from Bangkok direct to Kai Tak, and it's going to give my computer a break. I think she's been on for, it's an 8-hour flight, for about 14 hours now, so well-deserved break for the computer. And for you as well. I think everyone's had enough of me for the day. Wonderful. Thank you for watching. We hope you've enjoyed the emergency. Oh shit, Staffy32, you are on. It's on the start plate 10-2. Oh, cheers, man. Appreciate it. I'm only just seeing it. I think I was a little bit overwhelmed with everything going on. Glad we made it. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen. Thanks, guys. Wait, how do I get to studio mode? Fade to black.